From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of My Burbank Talks, presented by the staff of My Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, everybody. Craig Sherwood here with you once again, along with Craig Durling.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Good to be seen.
And, of course, Ross Benson.
Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, and what time is it?
You don't know what time of the day it is right now.
Today, I was up
weird
at
hours today.
6 a.m. to be at LAX. What time is it?
I don't know.
It was dark when I woke
up. It could be any time that somebody's
it's
listening to this.
Look at your clock right now, and that's what time it is.
It's whatever time the listener is listening to.
The viewer.
It could be any time.
Whatever time it is for the viewer is the time it is.
Well, good morning, and here I am.
There
I was.
So, a few things from last week. We'll start off with the week that was, of course. And last weekend, we had a very successful gun buyback campaign at the police headquarters. And Ross, I know you stopped by there real quick to grab a couple shots, and we're going to have a follow-up
photograph
on the website.
Photographs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
How did that go? Was it a success, a resounding success?
I got there at about 10:15, and it started at 9, and there was never a line, I was told, but they took in quite a few guns, more than last year, I hear. We'll get the results. They have to do some bookkeeping and so forth, but I was there when somebody came up with a long, not like a 22 rifle. It looked like some type of unknown weapon. They collected an assault rifle. They collected a stolen gun. And so it was successful to them.
Good. Well, if they take one gun back, that's a success, I would think.
And, last week we talked about the reason of it. And nowadays, if you have kids, mothers don't like guns in the house. And you think of, I was thinking some of the reasons why, people want to turn in husband and wives when they get married. Husband might have some guns, but after honey tells her for a while, I don't like guns in the house because we have kids in the house. Well, that's one of the
Oh, there we go.
That could have been the reason why they did the event. It's the chief was there, the command staff was there. Didn't have as many officers this year.
I think you need a lot of officers there to do it. I mean, but we'll have stats there this week. We'll have a story on the website.
Yeah, we'll get it.
With your pictures.
Yep.
There you go. Got some guns off the street. That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get they probably sold 4,000 in the gun stores this week, and we got.
Yeah, I mean, you're no matter what you do, you're going up. Against the tide. You're going upstream, extreme. But
the one problem is the criminals never turn their guns in.
And I did.
Oddly enough.
It was questioned last week. They were Walmart gift cards, and it was in the city bought them. It was part of the deal when they budgeted the whole event. They weren't given to them.
Oh, really?
By Walmart.
Maybe we should start charging Walmart every time we send an officer there for one of their petty theft arrests.
This Thursday, I'm doing Shop with a Cop.
Yeah.
And Walmart gives those cards.
Okay, well, that's good because
all those kids, and there was over 100 kids, so you figure at $100 a card.
Yeah,
that's a nice donation.
The Walmart and Empire has become a police substation, basically.
That's it. Pretty much any Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was it? Fry's had those two spots in front of the doors.
Parking spaces right out front.
Yeah. For, BPD. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Walmart, I believe, does too. They had an unmarked, or what do they call it? A flat top car sitting out in front of the store.
Or decoy car, right?
Decoy car.
Yeah.
Sitting out front of the store for every so on, they'll do that.
Yeah. Just randomly.
Yep.
Looked like somebody's there.
Yep.
Deterrent.
So that was a success. Saturday was a busy day in the city last Saturday.
Okay.
Gun buyback.
What else?
There was that walk for people walk from City Hall to the police station against women crime and so forth. Zonta did it, and I know I didn't cover it because I was at the other event. There was a art fair. There was a menorah lighting. There was a
busy weekend.
Choo-choo train, Santa Express came through town. There was a lot of stuff, and I left town.
You know what? I didn't hear a word about it anywhere. So I guess either
Well, they were
people enjoyed the day and
there's just a lot going on. I got a question, Craig.
Yeah.
I went down to Palm Springs, down to Indio, celebrate with some family.
Yeah.
Great brisket and potato latkes.
Ooh.
Those windmills, are those motorized or is it just by wind force? Because some move and some don't.
You're asking me?
Well, you go.
Here's
down
my educated guess. They're not motorized, but they're. I'm going to say that they have a clutch, so a brake, and if they want them to spin in the wind, they will release the clutch, and then they'll spin. I don't think anything mechanical makes them turn other than the wind. That would kind of defeat the purpose.
Right.
But if anybody out there knows,
Anybody
out there knows, email us. Let us know.
Those things, a couple of blades.
They're huge. Have you ever seen one of those blades being like delivered, shipped on a truck down the freeway?
Oh, it's got to be.
Oh, it's like a train going down there.
change that?
Huge.
You
They don't look that big until you're right there,
It was just.
but they're intimidating.
My nieces were asking, and they're fascinating. Drive.
Yeah,
through
because
that
some are
part.
turning, some are not turning, but I think it's more of a clutch thing.
Yeah.
They
And
pick
it's like-
because some have different clients, different customers for different ones.
We went through Cabazon, and it's funny. My son, before we went, I had heard there was a fire in Cabazon, and driving down, he saw where some floss jack was sprayed on the side, and you could see exactly where this brush fire was. But talk about windy.
Tastes terrible.
Oh,
Reminds me when I was a little kid, I'd put a bar of soap in your mouth if you cussed. Yuck. Reminds me of that.
yeah. But we got had to do a quick pit stop, and man, if you didn't hold on to your coat and tie and your tailpiece,
That's why all the windmills are there. It's windy.
I guess so.
It's funny that there's
So-
wind where there's windmills.
But there was no wind in Burbank. But you went to the Indy Fair,
The Jackalope Burbank.
and so you
It was great.
got some footage.
I got pictures. I took pictures of
I
the
mean,
fair.
you
There's
walked,
actually a gallery up on the myburbank.com, still on the front page. Got a photo gallery from that. But it was a good turnout. You drove by earlier in the day on your way to
was
something, and I was
crowded.
there for a few hours, midday, and it was a good crowd. Good crowd coming through. A lot of kids, a lot of dogs,
Perfect
a lot of
weather.
people walking their dogs. It was nice.
It was
Yeah.
yeah, you shot some dogs talking to each other.
Yeah, some dogs meeting. It was funny.
Which one? Need my shotgun blast again?
No,
No.
I
you
didn't
don't.
shoot. Oh,
no.
you didn't shoot some dogs. You just photographed some dogs.
Right. But no, it was a good turnout. I talked to the organizers while I was there, and they had over 180
Oh.
vendors.
Were they doing
People should-
chalk on the ground too, or
What do you
is
mean?
that a different show? I've gone to shows there, art shows, where guys are doing chalk.
I didn't see any of that.
Okay.
Didn't see any of that, but quite a variety of artisans there, and they had some food, some ice cream trucks, things like that out there.
That was a Saturday and Sunday event.
Saturday and Sunday, I think it went from 11 to 5. I was there for a good chunk of that on Saturday, and like I said, a good turnout, and it's plenty of parking. I had no trouble parking in the parking structure. I did not use the elevator, Mr. Sherwood. I know better than using the elevators in the parking structures, but no, it was good.
And
It was
then
nice.
later that night on the AMC walkway, they lit up the menorah, Rabbi Shuli from Chabad of Burbank, and there was a crowd. I noticed in some of the pictures. I wasn't there, but I did look, and Senator Portantino was there, and a couple of our council members were there, and I told that they cooked latkes out there, and they were playing dreidel.
I
and
should have stuck around. I
Yeah.
assume it went without issue.
yeah,
Did the health department let them cook those?
they
yeah.
well, they don't cook them there; they bring them, so it wouldn't matter.
Oh, and they don't give them out to people to eat there, right?
Yes. That's a Jewish food. That's
And the
Hanukkah.
health department allows that, huh?
I don't know.
I guess certain events you can do things, and certain events you can't do things.
I've done it.
There's the dissenter
Yeah.
over
Oh,
there.
it's just I think everything should be fair for everybody. Same set of rules. One set of rules for
Well, I
everybody.
don't disagree with that at all. But
But Hanukkah is you got to have,
Hey,
Hanukkah gelt,
What's the food?
potato latkes. It's a potato, not a ball, but a potato cake, and it's deep fried or fried. And my niece made
Sounds delicious.
50 of them at least for
Wow.
us.
well,
She
you had
puts
me
some-
at brisket when you mentioned you had
Oh.
brisket out there. That's one of my favorites.
My son, who doesn't eat meat or anything, he carved it, and he did those slices. He did without an electric knife. He did perfect. And then they made. You got to have donuts. That's one of the things of that holiday of Hanukkah. And my niece made fresh donuts and had the thing that you squirt the jelly inside or some Nutella in. Kids got enough sugar the other night that it was mighty good. And then we handed out gifts, and the kids were all happy. So it was a nice family event, and that's what, to spread some light.
Well, but point of order, I don't mean to interrupt, but we kind of skipped a week. Kind of skipped last week and jumped right to the weekend, I think.
That's why I was trying to figure out also.
The campers are gone on Forest Lawn Drive.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that the first page?
I love it.
well,
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So-
Ross decided he was going to start the show off with what's going on.
Well, Ross is starting in the middle.
Yeah, I guess he is. Because I'm looking at this saying,
I didn't want to interrupt.
well, I didn't know why he was talking about that stuff.
Okay. I'll just repeat it when we get to it.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll play it back. Play the tape back.
I am with it again.
All right, Mr. Sherwood,
Well,
do your thing.
let's start off with just the fact.
The week that was.
Like we've lost all control here.
No, that was the record. It took longer last week.
Let's go with last week's winner was Gordon Winter.
Ooh, the word of the week.
Word of the week was Gordon Winter.
It was?
Yes, it was. He won our $25 gift certificate to Hill Street Cafe.
Very seasonal name.
So we appreciate Mr. Winter
Very good.
listening.
And we will get him his Hill Street gift card
They'll
forthwith.
be in the mail this week.
Excellent.
And-
Thanks for
please-
writing in.
Well, but please send me an email with your address on it, because all you sent was your name and the word. So I do.
Ooh,
need
so
the
you
address.
won, but we need somewhere to send the card.
So hopefully, if you listened last week, you'll listen this week to find out you won. Send us your
Yeah,
address.
but thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
And that's to everybody. If you enter word of the week, please send your address along with the word, because we need to know where to send the card to.
What page are we on?
We're on the first page.
The first page.
We're on page
On
one,
the top.
at the very top. Still,
Gosh, I tell you, we use this shiny paper, and I get lost.
but listeners, they have to listen
Yeah,
for this week's word
Somewhere
of the week.
in our show, we will have a word of the week, and once again, another $25 gift card to Hill Street Cafe, one of the best kept secrets of Burbank, as we like to call it.
Yes, great family restaurant.
If you like food that's homemade, this place, I mean, everything there is. Oh, it's not it's not a bunch of frozen food warmed up.
Yep, absolutely. One of my longtime hangouts for sure.
Convenient.
But listen for the word of the week somewhere in this
And it's
episode.
only going to be a single word, from what I understand.
One word. We're getting
keep
down to
it
one
crossing.
word. No phrase this
No
week.
phrase,
It's going to be
just
a word.
It's a word of the week.
I can't wait.
So last Monday we had some very good news. The city of LA, I guess with pressure from, I would think pressure from the studios, came in and moved out all the motorhomes.
Praise be.
So all the motorhomes on Forest Lawn
ecstatic.
Drive are now gone.
Well, I love watching the footage. They did an aerial shot of the helicopters, and it looked like one helicopter for several. They weren't out there just with a tow truck hooking
No.
up. They were out there with a bulldozer.
Well, most of these things didn't operate.
Yeah.
They probably dropped there from tow trucks. But and don't be fooled by thinking it was just a bunch of RVs parked along Forest Lawn Drive. There was so much garbage and refuse and car parts and tarps and stuff like that, where once they got rid of the RVs, they had to bring street sweepers, power hoses, vacuums, all this stuff. And if you drive down Forest Lawn, it's great. It looks fine if you didn't know what it looked like a few weeks ago. But if you know what it looked like the last year, it looks scarred.
I find it interesting that when the strike ended, then suddenly they cleaned up that problem very quickly. And yet there are areas in LA that have had those motorhomes parked in them for years.
Yeah, but this one's on our doorstep.
And we had talked
We're
about
glad-
that
we're
before.
glad.
To be selfish, this one we have to look
And
at.
actually today they're out there and they're painting all the curbs red. So I guess if they can't read the sign that says no
Well,
overnight parking.
That's part of the thing, is they have to keep them from coming back now.
Yeah.
And what allowed them to collect last time is they basically suspended enforcement of all the posted no stopping, no parking signs that were already there. And before you knew it, we had the issue that was on Forest Lawn Drive. So now, as long as they enforce the parking laws that
Yeah,
are already on the books,
Can you imagine if you're going 65 on Forest Lawn Drive, and they pull you and give you a ticket and say, "Well, hey, the sign back that says
forget
the
about it.
speed limit." They said, "Yeah, the sign also
Yeah,
says."
but you
no
can't see
parking
any.
motorhomes."
Couldn't see any of the signs because there
Yeah.
were RVs blocking them.
Well,
all.
I guess they closed off Forest Lawn for 2 days.
Yeah.
My son had to go to CBS TV City, and Barham was stopped because a lot of those people
Yeah.
use Forest Lawn to either get on the freeway, get off the freeway. They couldn't, so it was a
Yeah,
little.
but what
challenge.
what an eyesore! I'm so glad the L.A. City, because it was in L.A. City. I'm glad they finally took care of it. Now keep them out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad. On another note, that they were able to find all the people that occupied those other alternatives. So
Well, I know in that aerial shot, I saw Supervisor Catherine Barger walking along, and her office is right here on Cahuenga, so it's not that she had to go far.
Kajunga.
Cahuenga, right?
Junga.
So
Well,
that
that's
was
good.
Monday, but
Okay,
see,
so
my
let's-
sheet didn't say
should,
Monday.
Should we
so
go
I don't-
back to
You're right.
That's because it was just a point of interest, like it the winner of the late week last week.
In
didn't have a
bold with
big
an
year.
exclamation point, as it should have had.
The should we talk about last week's council meeting or this week's council meeting first? Let's go to last week's first.
That's the typical format, right?
Yeah,
that's the name of the show,
Well,
isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not sure where we're
That's
at
the name of the show.
on our rundown.
I think
right
we've
now.
hit the reset button.
And yes, we did have a meeting before the meeting, or the podcast.
Did we?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it last Monday or is it last Tuesday now? Which
It's last Tuesday.
which one should I note here? Okay,
Somebody was helpful and put the date on it, so it was the 5th.
you're welcome.
You're
welcome.
That didn't help you for the beginning, though.
You're welcome.
So the city council last week, they approved the traffic mitigation plan for the area around Raising Cane's, just what they had discussed.
But that is called the Rancho Providencia.
Transportation. Yeah,
Do
we call it the Raising Cane's because you say the Rancho Providencia. How many people know what that
But
is?
it covers
both
a
start
pretty
with
large
R.
area.
Do we know what the mitigation plan
Oh yeah,
includes?
there were quite a few.
It's closing orchard for one.
Spike strips,
Closing orchard
tiger pits.
for one more year, and then they'll re-examine that. It's putting in speed bumps if residents want them. 80% have to agree to it. It's the no parking areas, and it's leaving the left turn lane on Olive, and along with the barricades and stuff. So all that's going to stay permanent.
And it was brought up. Metro is eventually going to put that bus line
They
in.
still have not. That's not a final decision.
Well, no, but Metro's not. They spent millions on it. I can't picture them trashing it.
Well,
But they're going to have to look at it again.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, how's Burbank? You can't tell Burbank how to run their roads.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah, one lane on Verdugo. You're gonna have one lane on Magnolia. Now you're gonna have one lane on Olive.
And what is
So-
there? And what they call that? Traffic calming.
That's like 7 lanes.
That's traffic calming.
Yeah, and you know why traffic's gonna be calm? Because it's gonna be going 10 miles an hour through our city when 5,000 cars try to go in an
The
area.
traffic might be calm, but
I
the
know
drivers
they,
won't be.
They
Oh,
worked
that's
with
true.
Karen Ross, the owner of Talleyrand, because her employees need to park on Reese, and then her business, she closes in the afternoon, so they worked with her on when you can park on Reese. So that was all part of the mitigation.
Well, they
Don't
also
you love that word, mitigation?
Yeah, but that is not the word of the week.
no,
No, it is.
Lest you think, lest you be typing with your little fingers.
they also talked
An
about
email.
the gun ordinance.
Don't fire anything.
Yeah, don't do that again.
Well, I thought it was a right sound effects. Anyhow,
The gun store ordinance,
the
right?
gun store ordinance. I found it interesting. They said that Big Five is no longer going to be selling guns.
Really?
You heard that?
Was that we know that to be a voluntary thing on Big
That's-
Five's part?
I
or
listened to the meeting.
I caught it late. I had to cover an
Okay.
assignment.
Did Big Five opt out of their FFL selling guns?
That's
Or?
what I understand. Well, not the chain, just the Burbank location, I think.
Right, but they opted out. Like it was a voluntary
Yeah.
thing.
I wonder.
They probably wouldn't.
they're-
They'd rather not be in the
I-
gun business anyway. If you saw
Well,
how it's changed
That's how
over the
Walmart
years.
they bailed on guns.
Okay, that's a
There-
good question.
There was a Big
Craig
Five
Durling.
over on Ventura Boulevard near Laurel Canyon. Everybody remember that one?
Yeah.
The what?
A Big Five. It was on Laurel Canyon and Ventura, right in that in that little side street right there. I wonder if they sold guns there at that Big Five, because that's in L.A.
I don't. I'm not allowed to leave Burbank, so I wouldn't know.
Okay.
The bubble.
I was told that the Big Five is no longer going to sell guns at their.
But like Craig Durling, you're
Yes, sir.
correct. I wonder how many people have gone into that Big Five in the last 5 years, last 10 years.
I go there to buy cheap sneakers.
Well, that's in the back. Their ad in the LA Times, the back page is all sneakers.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that's?
They used to have. It's a great place to go for discounted shoes, boots, and sneakers and stuff. But they used to have guns in their ads and their flyers, and I always kind of look, see what's behind the counter, and it's usually kind of rudimentary center fire rifles, things like that.
Yeah,
Savage.
Rifle?
I know that parking lot.
Shotguns, things like that.
I see cars in that lot, so
it's not a super busy store.
No.
But it seems to be more oriented toward the footwear and maybe like team sports.
Yep.
Like kids that need a.
Well, for years they tried to get to the high schools and tried to get our business, but the stuff there is it's cheap stuff. It's not high grade stuff that high school teams want to use.
Okay, so in addition to them opting out of selling guns, was any other notable?
So if that was one less store, does that mean a gun store can go in its place?
Well, no, because here's the problem. They did not say they're going to put all kinds of area limitations and area, where you can have a store. They said nothing about the number of stores. So guess what? We could still have another 10 stores in Burbank.
They have not voted.
No, they haven't voted on any of this shit.
This is all still in the works.
In the proposal, in the ordinance, is nothing about limiting the number of gun stores in Burbank.
To date. Who knows that could be something they're working on.
This is the report that they gave that where they're going. So
can they prevent any new ones from opening at this point? Do we know? Or no?
There's a moratorium right now.
Okay.
But when they go to the ordinance, I think the ordinance should say that there can't be no more than 5 gun stores in Burbank, and any gun store presently in business that has what do you call it, the
FFL?
The FFL license is grandfathered in until they close.
So they'll go eliminate them through attrition over the years. But
I have no problem with that. But there was nothing about. So basically, what they were saying, from what I understand, another 10 stores could open in Burbank once the ordinance is passed, because there's no limit to how many stores can be in Burbank.
Yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully they'll.
But what I did hear,
some zoning laws or something,
which
like that.
was rather interesting. I did not know. Let's say Gun World. There are bollards inside the store, along with that gate that comes down at night. You can't drive a tank.
Oh, it's a fortress.
It is.
That place, yeah.
And I did not know that is a requirement.
Well, it's going to be a requirement.
They have it already.
Yeah, but the other stores don't.
It's quite a few of them do, yes.
But also the guns on display there are within a caged area within the store itself. So, and again, because we talked about it in the past discussions about this, is if about kids going into a gun store, what do they see, what do they have access to? That was an example I would bring up as to, okay, well, Gun World. Sorry to not picking on Gun World. They're, I think, a good example of how to do it. But they have a merchandise area, retail area, where they have all kinds. It's bigger than the gun area. I mean, it's firearms, accessories, things like that. But there's all backpacks, things like that. But where the actual firearms are being displayed for sale is a whole separate zone of the store that's within a caged area. So they could certainly limit access to that area where the firearms are.
Interesting.
Well, kids can't go in anyway, so that's part of the ordinance.
Well,
they've already enacted that part.
Well,
not even accompanied by an adult or anything, or
no.
Oh, really?
That was already part of the ordinance they put in. Is no minors allowed.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Well, let's see.
So more to come on that, I assume, right?
Yeah, that's just they wanted to give an update of where they're at. Like I said, they talked about everything, but nobody, not even a council member, brought up about the amount of gun stores, which I was very disappointed in.
Yeah, that was the one thing you definitely wanted in there.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason we're having this problem is because we have 14 FFL licenses in Burbank.
Yeah. Well, Big Five, unless they give theirs up, they'll still be licensed.
I think,
but they just won't be selling.
Remember, the corporation is licensed. I don't think, is the individual store licensed also?
Well, it would be a storefront, count as a storefront. for LA within LA County, but I don't know. I think to maintain an FFL, you have to sell a certain amount of firearms every year to maintain that.
But is that a corporate thing or a store thing?
Maybe both.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe both.
And
Not
what
sure.
gets
But it
me-
might be corporate within California that all of their stores are their stores, just like, if Gun World had stores elsewhere, there might be an umbrella FFL.
Right.
I'm not sure.
And it's interesting that there are still residential, people that are FFL dealers or gun dealers.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of home addresses that come up on the FFL list.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, we happen to know a next door neighbor to one of them, and when I looked at,
They were very surprised.
But some counties, I'm going back a bit now, but some counties require you to have a storefront,
Mm.
an actual brick and mortar. So there are some people that may have an FFL to their home address, but their storefront is a cabinet at a gun store in Simi Valley.
and I know Burbank has requirements. If you have a business at home, they really limit the number of people that can come to your house, number of cars. Years ago, when I lived on Orange Grove, that came up. That when you have a home business, you have to limit quite a bit, and
The traffic.
it's just,
Well, I'm curious to see where this one goes.
Not that bad
How
for
it
the county.
evolves.
Another little side note: you're talking about businesses and storefronts and all that. I just, I don't know if people are aware that the Sears in the Burbank Town Center has reopened
As a Sears?
as a Sears, one of two in the country.
You're kidding.
yeah.
I didn't know it opened
Yeah,
back up.
The one in Burbank, and I think the other one in Washington.
Oh,
And
because it's been a Halloween store. It's been that Disney auction was in there.
Well, that was
Was that Bed Bath & Beyond?
Bed
Yeah.
Bath.
Okay.
so yeah, this reopened back, I guess, in October. Now, from what I understand, the shelves are not extremely packed with merchandise, so I don't know if they're trying to bring in stuff from all the other stores they closed down just to get rid of it in a couple
Oh,
locations.
maybe they're
It's going on
consolidating.
for the Christmas season, or if they're going to actually stay open. There's, they're not publicizing a lot, but in case anybody is a Sears fan, and I have no sympathy for Sears, because if people remember, Sears is the one that put a lot of mom and pop general stores out of business.
And
back in
Amazon
the
put Sears out of
19th
business.
and 20s, 1930s, when all the stores in the country, little general stores, they would not sell to black people. They would not sell to other minorities. They were very, and the Sears catalog came along, and anybody could order from that catalog. And that started putting a lot of general stores out of business. So now they didn't stay up with the times and think about digital, and Amazon
Yeah,
did.
and paper catalogs went away.
Amazon did to them what they did to the general stores. So funny how that, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, I guess, right?
And it's worth noting that Ross still uses the 1984 Sears catalog to see over the dashboard of his car.
Ah,
That's right.
So
As long as
still
we're
coming
talking
in
about
handy.
stores that start with an S, did you know there's a C's pop-up in the Lakeside
The
Plaza
candy store?
candy store? It's next to
Lakeside Plaza is the Vaughn Shopping Center.
Vaughn's, right on Pass.
Oh.
Next to BB's. Used to be a Jenny Craig's. Now it's a C's Candy.
Perfect.
I stopped in there the other day. You can't get individual pieces of chocolate. Everything is prepackaged in boxes. But that store, it's a pop-up through February. But talking to all the employees, if enough people shop there, they're going to make that a permanent store.
Oh, so it's
So I highly recommend. We're not getting any promoting Sears or anything unless you want to go to Jenny Craig afterwards.
This is a hard time to figure out if because people would probably do a lot of extra shopping for Christmas. So the numbers would be skewed if they put it in from March to I would say August. They'd have a better idea of a consistent.
Well,
Well,
Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, those are good,
Yeah.
busy holidays for that.
But the sign, talking to the employees, so they're trying to get customers into that store. It'd be nice because, like I said, there was a Jenny Craig's
Yeah.
next to the.
Well, it's an
urgent
interesting
care.
little corner over there. That BB's is always
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're selling there. I've had breakfast there a couple of times, but it's
Well,
always packed.
Season employees, you want to get the word out, we have a little thing called myburbank.com that would love to
Yes.
have your advertising to let the masses know.
Well, I've talked to them, and I did give them my business card. and they said they would pass it on because store manager in there is just temporary. But they got a good chunk of change for me the other day because for Hanukkah I bought Hanukkah gelt in there, and I will say they do have suckers.
One born
Well,
every
here's
day.
one.
One born every day.
How much did you spend?
Yeah, I spent a pretty penny in there, but on their sugar-free suckers, read the bottom line. The consumption, eat too many, has a laxative effect.
Holy crap.
Anyhow,
Where are we going with this?
Like you knew that was coming. Did you know that was coming?
I have an idea when it comes to Ross.
Pretty good. Okay.
Wednesday, we just erased it from the calendar. Didn't have anything happen. Thursday, Ross and I met with Burbank School Superintendent John Paramo, who actually requested a meeting with us. And
you got sent to the superintendent's office.
Actually, no, we got sent to the superintendent's Starbucks because we met at Starbucks, which is very accommodating because I would have trouble getting to that district office, all the walking, and they have an elevator which once in a while does trap people in it.
Today.
Oh, did they have one today?
I saw it.
Another city-run elevator?
Yep. Isn't that amazing how the city-run elevators just...
I don't
anyhow, we sat down. What a great meeting.
It was.
We were it went very well. We
What was the point of it?
Just to talk, and we made a little agreement. Everything that said was off the record, so I'm not going to get into what was said.
Ah, okay.
Because
but he did talk about. Don't you get it? It's off the record, but we did talk about. No, there were many things. We opened. You know what we did? We opened up the lines of communications between my Burbank and the school district, and he's new in his position. He knows Craig for a long time. He's known Craig. In fact, he hired Craig as a coach one day.
And then he left. And all hell broke loose.
And the rest?
And he just said we wanted to make it very clear. Now with social media, a lot of people in this city follow my Burbank. And if something happens, we should know from his office he's putting in a PIO, Public Information Officer. He's not going to do it like the last superintendent. And we're going to be on that list. So if people, instead of hearing stuff from your kids or hearing hearsay or things on social media, they will give us the proper releases and we will release them also. So that was one of the things.
It was a good meeting. It was a good 45-minute meeting. And
we're going to meet more often. That's the thing. He wants to keep the line of communications with my Burbank or probably the leader too. But for us, we wanted to open that up. We've been accused of things before. Things are said at the board level and so forth. Well, he runs the show there now, and
he does not run the show.
He made that clear.
He works the board,
right?
And so they're two separate entities, and he made that clear. So I thought it was a very positive meeting, and I was very happy about it.
And before I departed, I gave him a seersucker.
And he hasn't been seen since.
No, it wasn't a sugar-free one. It was a cinnamon one, and you're probably right. Those things are atomic.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Moving on.
Also, Thursday, Leadership Burbank had their holiday mixer, and they shared the class project that they're going to be doing at the animal shelter. Ross, why don't you fill us in on that?
Leadership Burbank every year comes up with a project. They have for as many years as they've been together. I mean, many years ago, they did the bee up on the hillside and redid it and covered it and so forth. And this year, the project is going to be at the Burbank Animal Shelter. The event was held at the Castle Studios. And a lot of people probably, we have a lot of studios in this town. Olive and Victory, what looks like a castle.
Oh, yeah.
We did a story on my Burbank many years ago. They do a lot of filming there. And the class was there, some great food.
They did the last King Arthur movie there, didn't they?
I don't know. King Arthur.
Everything looks bigger on the screen. I was thinking of the old Casey Kasem place up on, what was his wife's name? Jeannie? Up on San Fernando?
Yeah.
Where they made the child seats or the strollers or the bassinets or whatever.
Right.
I'm going way back in the Wayback Machine now.
But it was
It was a castle looking.
they had a good turnout, and like I said, they had a photo booth, and good old Tom Wilkie was the DJ, and they got a screen in there that is humongous.
That's like 4 feet.
Oh, humongous! No, this
Your
is 25.
wingspan.
Is it bigger than one in my living room?
Yes,
It's
this
bigger
is-
than a bread box.
this is 30 feet wide,
I have
Whoa.
I have a 120-inch screen in there.
120 inch.
Yeah.
This is 30 feet.
Oh, there you go.
And so they could project on it. And when I went in there, they're showing some of the shows they record there. It kind of blew me away. So it was nice to be around a lot of people from Leadership Burbank. Also, this is the last year that Mary Alvort and Sue Giordino will be the in teachers of that program. So we'll see who they come up with as that.
Okay.
Right on. Should we talk about the weekend again?
Then we had the weekend. Ross, we're on page
The
2
weekend?
now.
Everybody just rewind, go back to the beginning of the show,
And listen
and
to
find out what happened over the weekend.
Since when do we do our show
Well,
on a single page? Then you got to flip it over.
You're lucky it's not upside down, but we usually do start on a Monday.
and we usually let me do the rundowns instead of you just jumping right
Our
on.
moderator here,
Well, it did
the
say
ringleader,
Monday.
the ringleader.
I looked for the word Monday and I couldn't find Monday anywhere.
It wasn't. He was so excited about the motorhomes being gone. Forest Lawn Drive did not put the day, but anyway, we hit the reset button.
Because
We
that was
have
just
reached
that was a general topic.
the weekend of December 9th and 10th, and we already talked about all that.
There we do. So let's
So
move.
go back to the beginning of the show and then come back here.
There you go. So I think with all that said, it's time to have a commercial break because that's what we do.
Roll that clip. How would you like your business advertised in this very spot? My Burbank Talks is looking for local businesses interested in a 30-second spot to appear in our podcasts. If you're interested, please email advertising@myburbank.com and we'll be glad to discuss all the exciting possibilities with you. Now, back to our podcast.
Okay, we are back, and please, we really could use some advertisers on the podcast. We have one who's been with it a couple times, but we'd like to add a second one, please. So please let us know. We'll give you a great rate. We'll give you a lot of publicity.
Is there an email address for that?
Yes, there is. Advertising@myburbank.com,
There you go.
and we can work with you.
Craig Durling, I think you should promote your photography there.
Do people buy pictures anymore?
Well,
I'd love to,
when-
people to buy some
when
pictures.
you want to buy a nice picture for your living room or for your office building, what good way for you to promote your photography?
Wow, that would be great. If they want to check it out, they can go to,
Where could they find your
they
photography?
know my name, CraigDurling.com, DURLING.com.
Cool.
And there's multiple galleries, all kinds of photography, your nature, your wildlife, your scenic, your travel. A lot of fire stuff from 40 years almost of covering the fire service. But there's all kinds of stuff up on there. And you get stuff for your walls. You
Didn't
can
I
get
see a fox the other day on one of your?
a fox, a cross fox probably, up in from Churchill, Manitoba. While we were out there photographing the polar bears, we saw 4 species of fox on our first day there, and never saw another one the rest of the time. But there was this beautiful cross fox with these amber eyes that just plopped down next to the road right in front of us and let us take its picture. And just a stunning
Oh, it
animal.
wasn't Cujo.
You own Cujo. You've got Cujo in the backyard right now. But no, yeah, I know I appreciate the plug, but CraigDurling.com and peruse the galleries and pick what you will.
We would have to talk to somebody
Love to share the pictures,
to word or do the voiceover for that one.
right? I wonder who can do the commercial for that.
Okay, well, speaking of commercials, we're going to throw one more at you, and we'll be right back.
Have you been thinking about putting an ADU or auxiliary dwelling unit on your property? How about finally adding a room or even remodeling? Brennan Construction here in Burbank is ready to serve you. They can handle architectural plans, engineering plans, designs, and more. The owner is not only a lifelong resident of Burbank, but a proud graduate of Burbank High School. Call Brennan Construction at 818-624-0711. That's 818-624-0711, or check out their ad on myburbank.com.
So I'm curious, if you do a ADU, does that get a separate address?
No, unless you, I'm sure you can invent one though. Make it a half.
or A or B or something, because
Yeah,
I've seen lots of halves in the past, but
yeah, you make it a half, or yeah. I'm sure if like in my situation, it's two numbers every house, so I couldn't add an address there because it would throw them off. But I could do a half on mine, or a letter, or you know.
I was just, and the other one I was thinking of, with all the new added cars with these ADUs coming in town. I read somewhere the other day where people were street sweeping, that you can only park, they tell you can't for a 2 hour zone. Well, after the street sweeper comes, you can't park there in that time frame. They'll cite you again.
right, because you're still in violation of the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because in the old days when Burbank had their own parking people, and we used to listen to them, they would not do that. Once the street sweeper had gone by, they made it a, you go and park there again. They would not, because it was you couldn't park there for street sweeping. And once the street was swept, they said okay.
Yeah.
But now you have
Yeah.
this company
Yeah.
out there which has
Well, I wouldn't blame the company because I've been associated with cities and departments that enforce the hours on the signs because they don't follow the sweepers around. They don't know when things are happening and all that, so they don't want to play with times and who was there first and when did you move out? Was the car there? Was it really there?
Well, I just read that.
They just
the other
say
day.
you can't park between these hours. Period.
Somebody parked, followed a street sweeper, parked in front of where they live, got out and got cited. And they go, "The street's clean. Wait, what is this?"
Yeah.
that's the old days. This is the new days.
Now they just.
No,
It's definitely a
In the
gray
old
area.
Yeah, the old days you could do that. Now you can't do that with that new company.
Oh.
What's it called?
Well, like I said, I wouldn't blame
No,
the company. They're
company's doing
following
what they're
somebody's
told.
direction,
They're
right?
doing what they're told to do.
Yeah.
The sign says this. They're
So
going
somebody from the police department is telling them, or city is telling them.
Unlike
to do it.
Los Angeles, they actually do follow the signs in Burbank.
for no parking in red. Florist lawn.
Oh,
No.
have you seen parking signs in the city of LA
About
where they're at 8 on one pole?
Exactly.
I don't like math. Math's hard.
That's true.
I don't like it.
Did the planning board meet today? It's Monday.
No, but the planning commission met.
Oh, isn't the planning board?
Well, they may be board, but they're also commission.
No.
I'm bored.
They talked about a CUP, which is a conditional use permit for a recording studio called the Mix Room, to operate on a 24-hour-a-day basis. It's located on Burbank Boulevard, so I'm sure they'll probably get permitted for that because I'm sure there are all kinds of sound acoustics inside the building, and there's not that many people who really go in there. So
Well, if you think
Are
about
there
that,
houses behind it? or
Yes,
anything?
there are, and
Because
that's why you need a CUP.
yeah,
but years
there
ago
will be complaints.
there was a recording studio down on Glenwood, and some famous band was in there, and place caught fire and
But there was
Oh,
no,
yeah.
killed a couple people.
I think there's no residential around it.
No, but they were operating out of. They didn't have a CUP, but you also can't operate 24 hours in the city of Burbank. So I remember because there was a big lawsuit after that. But this goes to show, creative people work in the middle of the night.
They do, but neighbors will complain because I've dealt with 24-hour studios adjacent to residential before. And they come outside to have a smoke, to take a break, to talk because they can't talk in the studio, and they make noise. They'll be in the back alley smoking, making noise and all that. I guarantee that neighbors will
I mean,
complain.
band people do that kind of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They
Because
smoke.
they can't do it in the studio, so they go out in the alley and they'll.
But you're-
I guarantee there'll be complaints
Yeah,
from
they
neighbors.
respect the studio, but not the neighbors.
Right.
Okay, they're also going to.
They're paying for the studio.
They're going to consider a request to extend a development agreement that was on the old NBC property that's now owned by Worth. To extend the development agreement until 2027. So they still want to develop some offices and sound stages and everything else, and they needed extra time, and the development agreement was going to expire, which means they have to start the entire project again with new regulations and new codes and everything else. So they're trying to grandfather the old ones in, which I'm sure they'll get approval for. Okay, Ross, we're going to page 3 now.
I was going to say, for those following along, it's Page 3. It's on the front side of the back side of the other one.
Yes. Okay, so tomorrow, I mean.
Oh, geez.
Wait a minute. Mine says Tuesday, 12/12, 5:30 to 6.
Just
Okay.
a half an hour. Tomorrow is only half an hour long.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
there's an event tomorrow at 5:30.
What's going on?
Well, City Hall is going to have their 80th birthday.
What?
What?
Wait, what?
Did we just say birthday?
Birthday?
Birthday.
Is that
What's the
between 5:30 and
significance
6?
of that word? Is that the word of the week,
That's the word of the
Mr.
week.
Sherwood?
The word birthday.
Birthday.
So if you send us an email at contest@mybrewing.com and put the word birthday in there
And your address,
and send your address,
mailing address of your choice, so we can send you the card.
and we will have the old Alexa pick out a number of one of the lucky people, and they'll get a gift card. So
$25 gift card
Can
for
we
the
include-
great Hill Street Cafe on
Can
Glen
we
Oaks.
include a piece of that birthday cake they're cutting its root
I'll
down?
let you personally deliver it.
You know what? You can use your gift card to get a slice of cake at Hill Street Cafe.
Ooh, yeah.
So from 5:30 to 6, they're going to have the cake cutting ceremony.
For
at
what
the City
event?
Hall Rotunda.
For what event?
City Hall's 80th
What?
birthday. So I guess City Hall is
Old.
is 23, 24 years less old than the city. I guess the first 23 to 24 years they just kind of met at the saloon and
No, they
Talk
met
over
across
city
the
business.
street. It was actually the fire station, Story Hardware. It was all down. Yeah,
So when you
If you
two
go
were you two were born, the cement was still wet.
right.
Look at that.
But you know what? If you went by that place called,
Not saying you're old, but
Thanks.
City Hall is old.
My mustache is old. But if you go to the Burbank Historical Society, they have pictures of the original City Hall and fire station and the ring down room.
Yet
You know,
another excuse to go to that great museum.
ring down room. You remember that word? Ring down room.
That's 3 words. What's
Oh,
a ring down room?
after the
Alarm room.
Oh, okay.
and after the ceremony where they are going to cut the birthday cake, they are going to then meet at City Council, and in closed session they're going to talk about buying the property, the value, and make the offer for on Front Street where Hollywood Piano now sits.
Right at Verdugo there,
if
right?
you
Right
look
by
at
the
how-
off ramp.
If you look at Hollywood Piano's ads right now, they're saying we lost their lease. No, I think they sold their building. They're selling their building to the city of Burbank, which they're going to make into a homeless, I guess, a homeless center and a parking facility, and it's a great spot for it. So, yeah, Hollywood Piano is not. Nobody's forcing them to sell, or they didn't lose their lease. They're doing it
Well, if
voluntarily.
they can sell the building, then they didn't have a lease.
Well, that's
right?
exactly
Yeah.
it.
Little wordplay there.
Actually, they had their own lease, and they
leased it to themselves.
yes, and they booted themselves out.
Comes out of the other budget. But that's the place at right at the Verdugo off ramp
Yep.
from
Right,
the southbound
right.
5, right?
Yeah, right by the
Okay.
Metrolink, next to the Metrolink station.
But that parking lot next to it is all part of their property.
Yes.
And what the plan is, which they've talked about at previous city council meetings, is if you're, have a motorhome, and instead of plopping in front of somebody's residence or in a business district
Or on Forest Lawn Drive.
or Forest Lawn, you can go there, park that night. It's going to be watched and so forth, but you have to go by the rules, and they're going to look for job employment. There's going to be places where you can wash and shower and so forth. So it's a whole plan for that area, not just let's buy some piano store.
Right. No, it's a good location over there.
Yeah, let's just buy a piano store. We don't have that in our stuff. So after that, we're gonna get into the council meeting. Now, yeah, you don't bring up the presentations, the proclamations and all that, but there's 2 on the agenda tonight, which I don't know. The first one is a presentation of a proclamation celebrating the 80th birthday of there's that word again.
Still 80, huh?
Burbank City Hall. Now, so we're going to have somebody in the city staff work and make a proclamation, and we're going to talk about it. And who are we going to present it to?
Just buy a birthday
We're
card.
going to present it to City Hall itself?
Right.
I mean,
Just tape it to the door.
yeah, I mean, isn't that a lot of, why are we doing, that's just ridiculous to me. It's
Okay, come on, think about it. You go to CVS, you go to Walgreens, you go to wherever, and it costs you $15 now to get a birthday card.
The terrible selection now, too. But I was at CVS looking for holiday cards the other day, and there was an 80th City Hall birthday card there. Just the one, so not a lot to choose from, but there was one there.
Think about it. You've seen these certificates at the supervisor's office. These things are gorgeous. I guarantee they're going to have a Burbank
Okay, and who's going to make it? How much does that cost to have that person make that up? Is that going to take time and effort? And isn't that, to me, it's like having the police commission have a meeting where nothing goes on.
I think they probably crank those things out pretty quick.
They do.
They're just a template, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a template? That's
Yes.
it, huh?
Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
nothing. The fancy
My
stuff
Burbank gives
the
out
fancy stuff's
fancier-
already on the paper.
Right. My Burbank gives out fancier certificates than I see at a ribbon cutting. The Code 200.
Yeah, the proclamations are already probably printed. They
Wow.
just fill in the details, right?
That's still, okay, but who's going to present it to?
The citizens
city-
of
the
Burbank.
So
City
will
Hall.
the mayor present it to himself?
Who do you give it to?
Cricket. I don't know. Should we make a poll? A poll about that? Who do you give it to? I don't know.
Okay, well, here's my second presentation. Now, this one, I'm sorry. This is absolutely ridiculous. A waste of city time, city money, a presentation of a proclamation, okay, in support of the abolition
Abolition of nuclear
I'm sorry,
weapons.
of nuclear weapons.
Do we have nuclear weapons in Burbank?
Wait a minute. I'm still trying to figure out a presentation of the proclamation.
We
I
want-
know you have like 3 double negatives.
Yeah.
Of,
Well, that's like if you're copy and pasting a city.
so we want nuclear weapons? Is that what this is?
So we want to.
We want more?
But we want to have a proclamation to abolish nuclear weapons.
Hey,
Now,
Craig, did you see that silo that they're building up by DeBell?
They're digging a deep hole.
no, but in all seriousness,
Is this a gesture?
Why are we getting involved? Why is the city of Burbank getting involved in this? This has nothing to do with the city of Burbank. I think that's, well, we want to say we did. Well, what did you do? Who's going to pay attention?
So it's just a gesture, I guess. that we don't-
No, wait a second.
Okay.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Please
Hey, Ross has something to say.
Okay, tell me what's going to be.
Let the man speak. Go ahead.
You always complain, Craig,
Yes.
that why don't we have a meeting every week at city council chambers?
This the only thing on the agenda?
So they put this crap on the agenda so they could have a meeting, so they could have a proclamation,
That has nothing to do
so they
with,
can make a
that has nothing to do with-
presentation.
with having a.
It's not that we don't
A proclamation.
support the idea that they're trying to spread, but
But-
why do we? I don't understand
And
what
who's doing proclamations in support of nuclear weapons? I mean, this is such what a waste of time and energy at a city. But I will say this now: you are now welcome to go to the podium during oral communications and talk about nuclear weapons in that meeting
because
now-
they opened that can.
yes, they opened that can of worms up, and now it is city business because
But
nuclear
you-
weapons are part of city business now.
Yeah, but you could go up to the podium and talk about anything.
That is involves city business,
Right.
and now nuclear
Now it's because it's on the
weapons
agenda. It's city business.
are. Yes.
You know how many people are going to show up?
Oh, gonna have.
I wish 100 people would show up and take 3 hours on that, and maybe they'd understand why did we put this on our agenda? Why did we put this in our?
Who do we know who brought this up?
No, it's just popped up all of a sudden. There it is.
Are they going to give this one to the building too?
I think they're going
Who
to
do they give this one to?
They're going to give it. Maybe they're going to call the president in. Maybe Biden's going to come here on a
Willie Warhead,
I just think that's an
the
absolute.
nuclear mascot.
Can you say that one again quickly, please?
Willie Warhead.
Wait.
These are
Willie?
nuclear ICBM mascot.
Yeah,
Willie Warhead.
I just don't get it. It's just not.
Well, wait. Last week we had a report you read, and it had abbreviations for everything. What's that called? The 3-letter words. Couldn't we come up with some, 3 letters for
And by the way, at the next meeting, I'd like to do a proclamation to end world hunger. I think that should be the next one.
But does
on the
it make you
agenda.
feel better? Does it make you feel like a better person because you proclaimed that?
I couldn't care less.
Maybe that's the whole point.
I couldn't care. I think it's ridiculous that Burbank is taking time and space up.
I would tune in just to see who talks about it, what they have to say about it. You know what I mean? As far as this presentation, who's going to present it? Who's going to present it to who? What do they have
Well, the
to
mayor
actually
presents
say
it.
about
The
it?
mayor presents it, but who's going to give it to?
And what's he going to say?
But I want to know which council member is going to say, I have experience with this nuclear warhead, and this
Right. I mean,
I'm sure all the customers, oh, yes, we agree with that too. Well, no,
there might be some naughty stuff in the soil beneath the Empire Center to this day. We don't know.
that's true.
Yeah.
Little
I'll
present.
have to ask Willie Warhead.
Okay, well, I don't get in prison. To me, that's just is so ridiculous. I had to bring it up.
Well, you know what? If anybody's listening to this podcast, or you're out walking in the community, and you have to stop for a second to laugh at Willie and our nuclear problem here in Burbank, you know what? People won't ask you, what are you listening to? You can just share with them.
You'll recognize him. You'll think he's wearing a big chef's hat, but it's actually a mushroom cloud.
But you know,
It looks like a big chef's hat.
You know, it's funny. In the old days, it's that our way of thinking was back in the days that we were in elementary school. They used to have these sirens all around Burbank. Air raid sirens. In fact,
some cities still do.
There's still a couple in Burbank. Yeah. They're just sitting there rusting. But I think it's the third Friday of every month that they would sound these off, and we were always told to get under our desks and into a ball. So I guess if you get under your desk, it's going to protect you from a nuclear explosion, I guess. That was their figuring. I have no idea. To me, the proclamations is as smart as getting under your desk and getting to a ball and being safe from a nuclear weapon.
Folks, we don't make this stuff up.
Maybe if you don't have a desk, you can take the proclamation.
That's true.
Cover your head with it. I don't
Maybe
know.
that's why people wear
What's it made out of?
tinfoil on their heads.
Yeah. There's plenty of
We
those.
don't make this stuff up. This is on the agenda.
Yep.
It's on the
We're
agenda.
not-
So if for no other reason, let's all tune in. Just
Consent agenda.
Wait, I pass it.
Okay.
done. Moving on.
They're going to do.
Authorize an extension to the outdoor dining permits for downtown Burbank. Currently, there are 5 pockets on San Fernando Road.
Are those
San
breast
Fernando Boulevard. I'm
pockets?
sorry, I said road. I can't believe I said road.
Ooh.
They are.
Pants pockets.
They are. And
You're touching both.
So
Hey, what?
Keep your hands to yourself.
these are actually they took out parking areas,
Right.
and they put the traffic barricades
Out on the street itself.
K-rails.
K-rails.
And there's 5 different of these pockets on San Fernando where they've eliminated parking and put outdoor seating instead, and anybody can use them. It's not one restaurant.
Oh, so it's just kind of an open seating area.
Open seating area. So
Okay.
they want to extend that for 1 year until the end of 2024. So
Because it's popular, I guess, or is there a lobby for it to keep
it's
it around?
popular.
Is it extra seating? Yeah, it's outdoor seating.
In
Those places
California-
don't have outdoor
In
seating.
California, we're set for that 364 to 365 days a year, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
That, and you can bring your dog, your cat, your iguana. Willie likes iguanas.
Willie Warhead.
Ross, we're moving down to page 4.
Gonna get shirts made now.
Wait a minute, page 4. Is that on the
Page
back
4.
of 3?
It's
That would be correct. Also, talking about outdoor seating, they're going to extend a period for the other restaurants in Burbank that have outdoor seating in their parking lots to continue that. Just, I think, past that permanently, but I think it's something that Burbank is looking at now for a another extension of the ordinance. They have not passed it as a forever, but
they just keep extending it.
But you know what I learned yesterday? Craig and I, Durling,
Present.
attended Tequila's Christmas toy drop-off to support
The Home Again
Home
LA,
Again LA.
toy drive. There's a annual toy drive they do for
But
Home Again LA.
because Tequila's has used their back lot and made it a patio, they can do a lot more civic things, such as
That don't shut down the restaurant itself. inside.
exactly. If a
Yeah.
school wants to do a fundraiser, you could do it there because they have the space. Same with Morrison, same with a couple others. New Deal. And that is, people think, oh, it's just to let a couple of these restaurants have more space. Well, it does quite a few things. Brings back more employees to work. These are restaurant employees that, were limited. So there's a lot of great things about these parking lot dinets. And like you say, it's California.
So I'd say that's for the most part, it's a win-win. I haven't heard of any big conflicts or anything of anybody having a big problem with it, but it's good for the restaurants. It's good for the restaurateurs.
Yesterday at Tequila's, they're quite concerned about it because if they weren't going to pass it, but now that they're going to have another year, he wants to raise the floor. So if it rains, you're not walking on that AstroTurf.
Squish, squish, squish.
Exactly. And
I thought you're supposed to raise the roof.
Well,
not the words to the
those
song?
tents out there, that canopy makes it so you can have events
That's
year
good.
round.
They got TVs out there and the portable heaters and everything. It's a great venue they got.
There's a lot of restaurants that are doing it now, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's something that we need to keep. And they can't complain. Well, there's not parking. You know what? They approved 22 restaurants on Riverside Drive between Kenwood and Pass. There's no parking for any of those.
Well, there's 6 spots for 12 restaurants.
Yeah, so I don't think that they can't say that they're not, that they're worried about the parking when I'm sure if people went into Tequila's and they said, "Wow, we can't come here because there's nowhere to park," they would. So that's not the problem. Is where to park. The problem is people having a place to eat, and I think that's what they're trying to solve, and they do. And once again, one of our advertisers, Tequila's, correct, and
absolutely very good to us.
The food is excellent there. Food is excellent.
If anybody can come up with a reason to not extend these, I'd like to hear like a counter argument to this, because I can't really think of a valid one that would concern anybody for real.
You know what I had for dinner last night?
Leftovers from Tequila's?
No, I ate it all before I left. I had their shrimp enchiladas.
You did. Those looked good.
That's the first time. Oh, it was delicious.
So they weren't large enchiladas then?
They weren't large shrimp. Not jumbo shrimp. They were little bitty shrimp.
They were.
But my go-to there is the carnitas plate.
Right.
I just love the way they prepare them. Oh, so good.
Well, that's on the consent agenda, which means it'll get rushed right on through.
Hopefully.
I'm sure
that's the point, right?
I'm sure they'll spend more time on nuclear weapons than they will on outdoor dining.
Oh, my leg is stuck to the chair.
Because it's a big topic in Burbank.
Right. They're going to have a hearing on an urgency ordinance for SB 423, which is the new. I guess it's the new. Is to replace some of the provisions in SB 35 that they passed without putting much thought into, which tore apart the Rancho area, and an SB 423 will now protect any Rancho district from SB 35 projects, which means basically if you have a Rancho district that's been established for over 5 years and it's in official documents, then you can't have SB 35 projects in that area. So
how'd they swing that?
Well, the guy who wrote the original SB 35 bill, after he got a huge amount of blowback from all,
I know there was definite pushback
in Burbank, but Sun Valley, Lakeview Terrace, there are places that have equestrians, and they're going in, and the developers aren't going into the areas that really need the housing. They're going into the areas that are really nice areas that have special things, and deciding to build their cheap units in there. So they're trying to protect at least the equestrian areas because those are very special areas in California.
Now, wait, it sounds like they let the horse out of the barn before the barn door was closed on this one. Am I correct? Because
is that a metaphor?
Well, the project that's going on Mariposa.
No, that's in.
It's in.
Yeah, they can't stop things that's already been put in before the bill went into effect. The bill goes into effect on January 1st.
Oh, okay.
So
so the cart wasn't put in before the.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, unless the developer puts the project in the next 2 weeks, then that's the end of development in the Rancho area, and then they're stuck with the two they got, the Pickwick and the Mariposa. But at least that's all they're going to be able to do in that. The rest of the city, open game.
Here's some trivia for you. Did you know the Trojan horse? Wait,
the Trojan horse?
The original one or the USC one?
The USC one.
And what's the name of the Trojan horse?
Traveler.
Traveler, exactly.
Traveler is here in Burbank.
Yes.
They have a new Traveler coming up. fact, one of our studio hands, our stage hand, wait, what do you call Austin?
One of our photographers.
Nice. Contributor, associate producer.
He works with Traveler all the time now, and Joanne Ashman, a good friend of ours, a friend of mine. Traveler is right. A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah,
You see
Traveler's
that horse?
right here in Burbank.
It's right here in Burbank.
One of the most famous horses you'll ever see.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
Yeah, more famous than Mr. Ed even.
Besides Trigger and Tony and
Yep.
Pony.
Mr. Ed.
Yeah, right.
Was the horse Mr. Ed or was that his owner?
No, his owner was Wilbur.
Wilbur, there you go.
Wilbur.
Boy, this one's really going to the horses.
Boom.
Okay, so after that, let's see. We're also going to. They're talking about making Cesar Chavez Day a city holiday. Now, Cesar Chavez Day is already a state holiday, but is not recognized in Burbank. What that basically means is this: all your state offices are closed. All your state employees get a day off and that type of thing, but not in Burbank. So this will now basically.
So the city employees want the day off.
City employees now
Or holiday pay.
I'm sure they'll get holiday pay or the day off. They'll close City Hall. They'll close the gyms. They'll close all the city services. They'll still have their street sweeping and trash pickup, but then they'll also get holiday pay for that. And
No, usually on those, don't they just do
well, I don't know.
trash pickup? They don't do sweeper.
They all have their unions too, so
Right.
their unions will figure out what to do with the, how they're going to get compensated.
And we'll be paying more for the employees that are working on that day.
Yes, we will. But you know what? It's a state holiday, and we're going to have a middle school called Dolores Herta in our city, she is basically the female Cesar Chavez. So why not celebrate his birthday since it already is? We're not doing something the state hasn't already done.
And you'll still have essential services working, police,
Yes.
fire, EMS, all that'll
Right.
still be here. You won't. I don't think anybody would really notice a huge difference.
No, not at all. It's just like President's Day or Martin Luther King Day or something like which you hope that people will take a few moments of reflection out for, for the person of that day. And,
Yeah, it's not about having the day off.
no.
So do you
It's
think
about commemorating the person.
what month is that normally? Cesar Chavez Day? Do we know?
Yeah, we know. Or no, somebody knows.
So wait, I'm just curious. Cesar Chavez Day. I wonder if there'll be a baseball game, a Dodger game, and I wonder if Shohei Ohtani will be pitching or batting.
He won't be pitching.
Not this year, but I wonder if more people would come to the stadium because it's a holiday or because Shohei Ohtani is playing.
The next Cesar Chavez Day will be celebrated on March 31st, 2024.
And that's
Be a
it.
Sunday.
That is during the season.
Now, because it's on a Sunday, does that mean people get the day off Monday?
I'm sure they will.
Another long weekend?
Once again, it's our unions, So we're gonna have a November 11th on November 10th. So why not have?
I miss being a government employee sometimes.
Yeah.
Back to the career day. I mean the Cesar Chavez Day.
There's also they're going to talk about how they put topics together for the next school board city council joint meeting.
What do you mean next one?
Well, yeah.
You mean the first one?
Well, now that Steve Ferguson won't be the president anymore, they can actually
They can have a first
meeting
one.
that he
Wait,
won't.
don't we
Well,
have
they've had him before.
Okay.
This
Wait a
is
minute.
not something new.
Don't we have a drum roll or a snare or something for
Well, I
that?
have whatever you want. You want a drum roll? There you go.
Now you have to say something big at the end of
Say
it.
something big at the end of this now.
Did I hear you say Steve Ferguson won't be president?
Yeah, they changed their presidents like we changed mayors in December.
I wish we changed him like I changed him in my underwear.
Yeah, well,
No, more often than that.
yeah, absolutely more often.
That's like next week. Do they do
That's right,
the
a couple
same?
weeks. Just a couple more
Yeah,
weeks.
it's next Monday.
All right. So they're starting to
18th.
plan whenever the next
Yes.
joint meeting is, they're
Yeah,
starting to
they're
plan
talking
that.
about how they put their agenda together and everything else. So, which we talked about. The agenda was all ready to go, but
Right.
at the last second, Steve Ferguson wanted inclusion
Maybe
on
they
the
have some.
agenda.
Maybe they have some proclamations to print up.
Well, no, he doesn't want proclamations.
No proclamations.
No. He doesn't want proclamations. He wants to talk about it and then vote on it.
Oh.
So who's going to vote against inclusion? I just who's going to vote against? They want to have.
It's
nuclear
either that.
weapons.
It's either that or a nuclear weapon.
Yes, I mean, and
You got to pick your poison.
I'll
right?
take the nuclear weapons over Steve Ferguson. Anyhow, then of course we're going to talk about code of conduct for council members because the last meeting went way too long because we only have 2 meetings a month when we could have 3 meetings a month. That's a whole new topic in itself. I'll do an editorial.
You haven't done one in a while.
No, I got a couple.
Why is code of conduct a topic of interest? I wonder.
Oh,
Why would that be
Well,
on the agenda?
must be.
One wonders.
What do they call him? Mayor Slappy? Is that what he called himself? On?
Oh, for another couple of weeks.
Yes, until the 15th.
Another week.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure he's going to be replaced by our vice mayor. Then the question is going to be, who's going to replace the vice mayor?
I hear the board of library trustees has a big announcement.
Yes, they do. They've canceled their meeting.
Oh.
Ross,
Okay.
now we're moving on to page 5, Ross.
We're flipping over. Flip over the one that says, nope, it's the next slice of paper. It's a whole new slice.
Okay.
I got it.
What about the Cultural Arts Commission? You have heard anything about them? Oh, wait, their meeting was canceled also.
Oh, I think we buried the lead then because that's an even bigger announcement.
Yes. Well, also, you're talking about
cultural arts.
we're talking about canceled meetings. How about Park and Rec? They've canceled their meeting also. I guess it's December, so
It's the season.
So no, because it's December, we just don't have time for meetings.
Everything slows down.
You guys jumped all over these meetings and they're
Well,
canceled. What about Shop with a Cop on Thursday?
Well, there's other things also we're going to talk about.
Is that also on Thursday?
Why don't you let me kind of go through this because
We go through the cancellations first.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're talking
We
about
go through the list of
talking about
cancellations, like school closures when it snows.
we're talking about cancellations, so we just kept the topic going. That's all. Now we'll go back and we'll talk about Shop with a Cop
Yes.
at Walmart.
Hey, if you can start in the middle,
I'm so lost.
then don't be complaining about the order we're going.
That's why one person kind of moderates and brings the conversation along, and the others comment on it. So go ahead and comment on Cop with a Cop with a
Shop
Walmart.
with a Cop
Shop
at
with a Cop.
Walmart. Now this isn't Coffee with a Cop. This is a new one.
They have
This is
Starbucks-
for
they
the
have-
for the holidays. Shop with a Cop.
They have Starbucks at Walmart, don't they? Or is that Target?
They have one in Vons. I know.
They got two.
Oh, they have one in Target
They
too.
have one in every corner. Does it matter?
They do. Store in the strip mall have another
Like
store.
they do at Vaughn's. Yeah.
Yep. Like
One of the things that is happening Thursday at Burbank Walmart is Shop with a Cop. Or they changed the different names. It's Officer something. But Walmart gives each kid like $100 gift card and says, go fly your family. And these kids are chosen from Boys and Girls Club, some organizations, Home LA, blah, blah, blah. And they're told these gift cards aren't for them. These kids don't go buy gifts for them. It's for their sisters and their mom and dad and their brothers. And they assign a police officer with each kid to push the shopping cart and help them add up what they do. And I'll tell you, they terrorize that Walmart for a good hour. And then they all check out. And we do a great big group picture. But wow, last year they had a ton. And I got to raise, my hat off to the manager of the Burbank Walmart. Years ago, they used to do it at another store in that shopping center, and they told them they didn't want them to do it
Tell
anymore.
them who the store is. Why are you
yeah,
protecting them?
Target.
Yeah, Target said.
Yeah, Target said
No.
we don't want to be involved with it anymore, and they went over to
That's
talk.
good PR.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah,
Hey, let them. If they're going to make a decision, let them take the wrath.
So this sounds like a great event. Are you going to be there? Are we covering this one?
I am shooting it. The police, the chief, the whole command staff will be there. Some of the police commissioners, almost a ton of officers will go with these kids. It's also that pairing up of kids
Absolutely.
with officers and
Great community relations. And
one picture I always love to get: 4 or 5 kids in a shopping cart and the cops pushing it at top speed.
you should totally have an officer in another shopping cart chasing it down the aisle.
And with one of those little beacons on top.
Yeah.
Of it.
Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. Exactly.
I knew you'd come in with
Just
a good
like
sound
that.
effect.
Just like that. You could probably buy one at Walmart.
But that's
everything
a
there.
great event that Walmart participates in, and kids terrorize that store. It's really amazing to watch these kids think, what they want to get mom and dad, and so forth. So a great event.
Look forward to that.
Well, that night, there's going to be a community meeting from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Community Services Building.
Where's that?
You don't know where that is?
Where they have all the meetings.
Oh, Community Services Building. I'm sorry. I was looking at 132 West Providence.
Not the community service you've been ordered to do.
Oh. They're going to talk about putting a car dealer support facility. Actually, it's for CarMax. They want to do a vehicle repair and maintenance facilities at 132 West Providencia. So they are going to talk about that. And so I have to do permits and everything else. And it's not a residential area. It's just off of Flower and Providencia there,
So does
right by the freeway.
CarMax not have a service center on their property right now?
I thought they did. I thought they did between the showroom and
It's maybe giving them
Home
room to
Depot.
expand.
yeah, I thought I read in the staff report there were certain things that they wanted at this other location.
Well, it said they wanted vehicle repair and maintenance. So
Yeah, and
Well, they do service the vehicles. If you
right.
buy a car CarMax, you can get a service plan, and they'll do it right there in-house.
so that's it for.
Another big announcement here from Parks and Rec.
Well, we just talked about that.
Park and Rec. Did we talk about that? already?
Yeah, and then Ross got
I'm all
got confused.
cattywampus here.
Yeah, I did all the cancellations at once.
Okay, because I like to separate out my big announcements.
Okay.
Another cancellation. Okay, noted.
Yeah,
I made a note on my paper here.
Park and Rec I'm sure there'll be a police commission meeting. Anyhow,
Somebody has to have a meeting.
so this weekend, the only thing we have left is a.
Wait, did they cancel the Park and Rec Board meeting?
Indeed, they did.
They can't talk about nothing, huh?
Not parks or recreation.
Isn't
They
there,
could probably talk about anything else.
isn't there a TV show, Parks and Recreation?
There
Great
was.
show.
Oh, maybe I should watch
There
it.
was,
Canceled.
but it's in reruns everywhere. So you can find it everywhere. So
So is I Love Lucy. That doesn't.
that too.
What about Emergency?
That's harder to find.
Me TV, I think.
Adam?
Yeah,
12?
Me TV is good for
Adam
that
12?
old stuff. If usually coupled with Emergency, usually they're
Dragnet?
find one, you find the other.
Yep. We have Dragnet.
I'm going to put him to work every show.
He needs something to do. Stay out of trouble. Moderator. Exactly. Is he still down there? There he is. I see him. Kind of blends in with the wall down there.
I keep trying to move things along, and we keep seeing.
You're both dressed the same color as the studio.
That's why.
Yeah, invisible. Me, I'm just blended in with the shadows. Friday, big day in the city. Friday.
Yes, there's
the
absolutely
15th?
nothing going on.
No, nothing going on.
Our
make a note of that.
calendars. Tons of sports events going on.
Yeah, a lot of
I
sports.
saw about
I
6
just,
items.
there's a library event going on also, which I'm not really sure what the event is, but it's
certificates.
giving out
That's right.
certificates to somebody.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Not proclamations.
Nope. No nuclear war at the library.
Hmm.
And this weekend, only one real event going on, and
Dig.
well, I guess a big event, but
No, dig.
yeah,
Not big.
it's a dig event, and dig is once again doing a little gardening.
Oh, you
So-
can't stop that.
Well, we can, of course, we don't have to
say,
stop
You
that.
can go-
You want a little more of that?
Everybody knows the words.
You know, the other day I was flicking around with my TV remote and I found Petticoat Junction and what was
Oh,
the other
wow.
one? And those shows back in the day.
Green Acres.
Yeah, Green Acres. And those were
That was Ava, not
classics.
Zsa Zsa, right?
I beg your pardon.
Yes,
Thank
that
you.
was
Green
Ava.
Acres was Ava.
Yes.
Well, you look
But-
at those shows and we watch those, like Leave It to Beaver and, all those.
It's amazing if you look at the date, the copyright date at the end of those shows, how long ago. Like I'm addicted to Gunsmoke now. I record them all and I'm watching, and they're on like 20 times a day. But that show went on for 20 years.
Wasn't Clint Eastwood in that for a while?
No, that was James
No.
Arness, but Burt
No.
Reynolds had a
No,
run
Clint
in
Eastwood
there.
was on, no, it was on the other one. There was another Western.
James
maybe.
Garner.
Well, he did Rawhide, and
Rawhide.
he was
That's,
in.
yeah, he's on Rawhide. That's what he was.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was his deal. Rowdy Gates,
I
I,
remember-
think, was his character's name.
I remember back in the day when NBC was here in Burbank,
Back in the day.
they used to have the little back alley area of NBC, and you used to always see all the semis parked there that had Bonanza on them. They're traveling production company back
the
then.
Cartwrights.
Just think how much that used to be filmed in Burbank.
I know. Everything used to be filmed in Burbank.
Well,
the Western
So it's a dig event. We didn't really
Oh.
talk about the dig event. It's 8:30
Big,
a.m. to
big.
10:30 a.m. at Gross Park. Robert Gross Park.
Gross Park.
Where's that?
That's right by Station 13. You know where that is?
You are good. I happened to drive by it today.
Is it still contaminated? What are they digging up over there? Nuclear weapons?
No, over there, bodies.
Oh, geez.
Think about that
Good
neighborhood.
Lord. Yeah, lots of people are going to be showing up to this now. We're selling the
If
heck out of
anybody
this thing.
finds any skeleton.
Gross Park. What street is that on? Is that on Thornton or Empire?
You got it.
Thornton. Okay.
What station?
13. Task Force Station.
There you go.
It's where I used to park the police command post in the day. They don't
That's
park
right.
it there anymore,
No.
though.
You know where it's stored now?
Is that the animal control still?
No.
Where?
Oh, no, they're not using the front office. Out at the airport where the coroner keeps all their vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's the dig event.
Oh.
Bring your trowel, your shovel,
Craig
your
is looking
gloves.
for buttons over there.
He's looking.
He's
Oh.
looking.
Our moderator's distracted by
Oh,
a
he
shiny
is.
object over there.
I'm just waiting to.
But
He's getting to the last item on our agenda.
this is the last item. It's the thing everybody really tunes in for besides the word of the week.
If you've listened to the show for the last hour and 20 minutes, then you are going to be rewarded with this. Time for Ross's rant.
Ross's
All right.
rant.
Ross's rant. Okay. So
Wait, I had typed on here, isn't the ceiling flat or something?
okay.
That's baseball card and spoke.
No, that's his news.
This is teletype.
That's
What is
me
that?
trying to light a Bic lighter.
Really fast. Your thumb must be getting tired.
Okay.
What's your rant? Everybody wants
Not
to know.
rant.
Actually, it's not a rant. It's,
You said it was right last week. So why do we call it Ross's rant?
well,
then?
because, I think of these things
It's more
driving.
like Ross's ramblings.
Yeah. Hey, we'll change to that next week. Ross's
Wait,
ramblings.
there's got to be music to go with Ramblers. Oh, wait, that's car.
Well, we have a week to come up with one.
Well, between last week and this week, I got to visit my dermatologist. And I don't know if you can tell in that camera, that doctor froze 35 cancerous spots off my head.
Wow.
35. That thing, that freezes. She was just moving from one to the other. I'm going, wait a second, let the ice stop off that one before you go to the next. I'll tell you. And then 3 days later, she reminded me, today I might hurt. 3 days you're going to look lousy. So I hope not.
Is this day 3?
Yeah. I'll tell
Now,
you.
how did they detect these with a light or a scan?
She
Or
just looks and she says,
oh, really?
and because I'm bald,
Anything suspicious?
yep, anything suspicious. And she looked pretty close and 35 spots were frozen. I went home. I needed a Tylenol pretty bad.
And a blanket. You must have been freezing.
I was, And then she said, I'll see you in 3 months. We'll do it again.
Hey, prevention. It's all
So,
about prevention.
you know what? My brother for Hanukkah gave me a hat. Not wearing it in here. I probably should with these ultraviolet lights.
I know, right? We're all getting a tan in here.
But I'll tell you, folks, wear a hat, put sunscreen on. If you're young, don't go
Start now.
Yeah.
I was bad at that for,
If you're young, you're not going to listen to the
decades.
show.
and I worked outside my whole professional life, and I was terrible about
Well,
putting sunscreen
I
on.
don't know how you did it with your arms.
I know I was never a long sleeve person, but
Yeah.
maybe I might.
She only
might
found
pay
one
for it.
She only found her 1 or 2 things on my arm, but it's all on my head. So, folks, with that, go see your dermatologist if you're a bald person or real fair skin. It's precautionary.
Even if you don't, check it out. Especially in Southern California, we're all
and
out in the sun all the time.
it's not a rant. It's the holidays. I'm driving around and people are just flying. I know it's a time of year. Just take it easy. Be grateful. Think of what's going on around our
The only
world.
guy I know it's flying is that guy.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
He was at Tequila's yesterday.
He was.
He gets around, I hear.
Got to see Santa.
He gets around.
Yeah, and there's a picture of you sitting on his lap, or you standing next to him.
Yeah, you need to send me that picture.
Yes.
Not often I get to hang out with Santa Claus. The Santa Claus.
Was that the week that was? The week that will be?
That's
Can,
it.
can we start over? Because I screwed up the first 2 pages.
No, we'll do it. We'll fix it in post. We'll just cut and paste the beginning to the middle, and
this will all be fixed. Don't worry. Yeah, it's going to get fixed.
that'll be
It
great.
really will.
That's going to sound great.
Okay.
You know, people tell me they love the show.
People at the Jackalope fair were recognizing me from the show. Some people thought I was you, but a lot of people that were there stopped me and listened to the podcast here. So hello, everybody from the Jackalope.
We do appreciate us.
Good to see everybody out there.
Well, we hope we gave you some information, and if not, write us, and we'll find out about it.
If you want to, if you have something you want to talk, write us. You know
What?
You would write us
Words?
You know, you're going to laugh, Craig. People said people came up to you at the Leadership Burbank. We talked last week, I think it was. We got a letter about naming Doris Herrera School, and Steve Ferguson not wanting city council.
That was 2 weeks ago.
She came up to me and she said, your podcast was my letter. She said, you could have used my name. You know,
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
but elections are coming up and she's ready to.
Well, we all are. We all are.
All right. Well, good to see you, gentlemen.
We will see
We
you
do this
all.
again next week.
We'll see everybody next week. Thanks a lot for listening, and take care.
Tally ho!
My Burbank Talks would like to thank all of My Burbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Gain Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Cafe, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.